Okay, in this part 3, we're going to hit several topics dealing with significant figures. First, we're going to start with rounding. So the rules for rounding are on page 137, so you might want to have a look at that. Make sure you know what those rules are. So let's just do a couple practice exercises. Round 124.6 centimeters to two significant figures. So have a try at that, and then we'll go on. Okay, so if it's two significant figures, here's what we do. We start from this end, we go 1, 2. So we're going to round this to, we're going to use this number to decide how we're going to round this number. So this number is 4, it's less than 5. Hopefully you learned how to round correctly, that you just look at the number right after the one you're rounding to. So we're rounding to this digit. So 4 is less than 5, so we're going to round this down to 120. Please don't put 12. It doesn't say to chop off the number. 12 is not the same as 120, and you know that. All right, so next one, 9.359 to three significant figures. So take a chance here on that one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 significant figures. We're going to round to this digit. Now, this is a 5. This is a 9. So this is going to round up to 6. So 9.36. All right, so that's all there is to rounding. Basically, if you learned to round correctly in elementary school, you should be good for this. It's just a matter of deciding how many significant figures. So you always start at this end and count 1, 2, and use the next number to round. So 1, 2, 3, use the next number to round. All right, and calculations, the rules are on page 138. The rules can be summarized actually pretty much here, that no answer can be more precise than the least precise number you used to get it. So whenever you look at a number, what you're going to have to do is look at the precision of the number, that is how many significant figures there are, or in the case of numbers that have decimals, the number of decimals. So on page 142, number 5, this is a practice exercise, a review question exercise. It says, without doing the calculation, tell how many significant figures should be in each result. All right, so let's look at number 1 is 3.2 plus 4.17 plus 1.243. And remember this rule right here, no answer can be more precise than the least precise number used to get it. So looking at those numbers, okay, 3.2 is only precise to one decimal place. Everything else is precise to more decimal places. So we would have to round this off to the first decimal place, which means there'd be two significant figures, the number in front of the decimal and then the one behind it. All right, for D, 1.3478 minus 0.02. Okay, now this one's going to be a little trickier. Because 0.02 has two numbers behind the decimal place, we're going to have to round the answer off to two numbers behind the decimal place. So looking at the first number, which is 1.3478, we are going to keep the 1, the 3, and then we're going to round off to the place where the 4 is. So there's going to be three significant figures in this one. All right, for C, 4.6 times 3.435. So we look at 4.6 has two significant figures. We look at 3.435 has a bunch. So we round off to 2 because of the 4.6. All right, D, 4.2 by 10 to the negative 5th times 3.74 divided by 6.783. So we look at significant figures again. In the number in parentheses there, 4.2 has only the 2 out in front. And then 3.74 has three significant figures, and then the last one has a bunch, it has 4. So we're going to round off to 2 because of the 4.2. And then finally, E is tricky. 50 minus 0.00473. So we're going to look and see that 50 is only precise to the 5. The 0 is not significant because it's a placeholder 0. So the tens place is where we know this number 50. And then this other one, 0.00473, all of a sudden we know this number to 5 decimal places. So this is essentially like taking 50 and subtracting nothing from it. This is like the proverbial drop in a bucket. The 0.00473 is so small that it won't affect the 50. So the answer to this is actually going to be 50, so the number of significant figures is just 1. All right, so that's page 142 and number 5.